Now that we are taking over with JavaScript, time to execute some code so that we can actually see an animation. Now, the place to animate is the enter and the leave function, because these are the functions which get executed after the initial states have been set in before enter and before leave, and well, before we're done. So here in enter, besides logging this, I want to grow the width of this div. So I want to grow it to the right, make it a bit broader, and upon leaving, I want to make it smaller. Let's say these are the two animations I want to play here. Now, what I will do to play this is I will set up a variable round here with the let keyword, ES6 syntax, and then I'll set up an interval, set interval, because I want to grow it in steps, of course, and not instantly make it pop from normal size to broader. So here we do need set interval to play or to change something over some time. And I want to set it in an interval of, let's say, 20 milliseconds. So every 20 milliseconds, I want to change this div. Now in this function here, in the first argument of set interval, I execute the code I want to change every 20 milliseconds. So here I want to access my element, there the style, and then let's say the width. And I want to set the width to what? To the width it right now has, plus something which depends on the round we are currently in. So I want to bind it to element style width, so the current width, plus round times 10, let's say. So in round 1 we add 10 pixels, in round 2 we add 20 pixels, and so on. Now this will make it grow exponentially though, because we would take the old width and then add ever higher numbers to it. So that's not what I want. Instead, I will save a new property, which I'll name element width, and I'll set this to 100, because I want to have 100 pixels being the default. This means I can now use this here, this element width, and now I will make it grow from 100 to 110, from 100 to 120, because this will always stay constant. It never changes. It's only the width which is adjusted here. Excuse me. So let's put this into parentheses to execute this calculation first, before we then convert it into a string and add pixels in the end, because we need to set it in pixels in the end and not as a number. This should change the styling. Then, of course, we also need to increase the round by 1 so that this round variable increases. And we want to set up an exit condition. So if round is greater than 20, if we executed this 20 times, let's say, then I want to clear the interval with the clear interval method and passing the interval which we stored in a constant. And I want to call done here. And don't want to call it outside of that, because that is what I was talking before about. I don't want to execute or don't want to mark this as finished once this code has been executed, because we do have an asynchronous operation there. Therefore, done shall be executed once we really are done, once we reach this exit condition here. Now with this looks good, but we should also set the initial width here in before enter. So here we should set element width to 100. We don't really change it, but just to make sure that it really is 100. And then we want to set the element style, the width, to this element width plus pixels, so that we reset it to 100 before adding it to the DOM. Because if we added it before and removed it, this might have been in a different state, especially if we cancel some animation in between. So therefore, we want to make sure that we reset everything here in before enter. Well, and with that setup, we can of course also go to before leave down there, but we also want to configure it, though here we definitely want to set the element style width to, let's say, 300 pixels. Like this. This is where it will be at in the end after our enter animation here, because we animated up all the way to 20 pixels, to 20 times 10 plus 100, so to 300 pixels. Well, and for animating it out, I can simply copy the code from the enter function here, override the done function, because we want to call this in our exit condition here too. And the only thing I need to change here is that I want to, of course, decrease the width. Though this element width will always be 100. So for this to work, we should also add something here in before leaf and set this element width to 300. And then we can also override this here to use this element width plus pixels here again. So now it also makes sense to reset this to 100 and before enter. Let's see if this works as it should. If we have a look at this application, we can load it to grow it and then shrink it. Load it, shrink it. Load it and shrink it. Now you see, if we load it for the first time, we get this ugly jump because then our initial width doesn't fit the initial width it should have once it is attached to the DOM. And we can easily fix this by going to our code and set the width to 300 here. And now you see that looks pretty good. Now we get the animations we wanted. Now all done through JavaScript. And just to highlight this once more, you can mix JavaScript animations and CSS animations. Here I just wanted to show the extreme opposite by just using JavaScript. Mixing it is fine. If you do use only JavaScript, consider using this CSS attribute here though to tell Vue.js that it may skip the CSS detection.